What up, everyone? Welcome to the next lesson in the full-time GoDev program. And in this lesson, we are going to cover packages and modules, right? And like I said before, I'm not going to overburden you with very complex mechanics of packages and modules and go very, very in depth. I think it's going to kill your dopamine levels, and I want you to learn. I think this is a very USP, unique selling point of how I teach, because we are going to do a lot of projects over time, and it will make more sense as you progress, right? But you need to have some basics knowledge, of course, about packages and how it all works. And that's what we're gonna cover today. So basically, if I do an ls here, I don't have anything in this folder. It's called my Go project. You could call it whatever you want. And the first thing we always do is basically, let's vim up here real quick, and we're gonna make a main.go file, right? And because I'm using the Vim plugin here, the Vim Go plugin, it's already basically provided me with some boilerplate func main, and I'm gonna TS disable the highlights here because I don't like them, right? So very simple. We have a println here. We could actually change this hello like this, right? And then you could do go run main.go. Right. And you see hello. And that's already a very important aspect of the two different programs, packages, things you can do with Golang. And that's the first one is basically something that runs code, executes code, right? Executes code, right? And that's going to be, that's going to have a main function, right? Just like here, right? This main function here, and which is basically our entry function of the program, right? Let's actually say that the first thing we can do is basically a program. We can make a program in Go, right? But we can also make some kind of a package / library. That's what we actually used. That's how we call them, right? I'm going to make a library for something, right? It's being used in every language. It's the same in Go. It's going to be a package library. Wait, first of all, this program here, that's also going to be package main. Package main, right? Always package main. And on the other side, we have a package or a library, or maybe you could call this maybe also a module. And that's going to be something that someone can import into their program or library, right? That's the thing. And that's going to be, that's not going to be a package main, that's going to be package whatever, right? Very simple outline. We have two things we can do in Golang. We can be actually, this program here, something that can run executes code, and that's going to be with the code we run it is go run some file.go, right? You maybe already did something like go run main.go or something. You could do go run whatever file.go you want, right? So in Golang, let's summarize this. We have two things we can do. We can make programs, right? And programs will basically, you're going to go run or you're going to build it, and it's going to run some code. It's going to have a main function, and that's going to sit in the package main, right? On the other hand, we can have packages, libraries, or modules, whatever you want to call them. Don't worry about that. And it's something that someone can import into their own library or program. And that's being called package whatever, right? And very important is that a program itself can also, a program can import different libraries from GitHub or from yourself or from whatever, right? Cool. This is already complex. For me, this is already complex, but hey, I needed to tell you that. So basically, you can already see what we have here. Let's do this. You can see we have a project, we have a main.go, so that's basically going to be a program that can run, right? You see. So basically, because why? We have a function main that bootstrap everything, right? And if you do a go run main.go, it's going to be hello, right? What we also could do, very simple, we could make another script in here, or another file. You could call this foo.go, right? And foo.go is also going to be a package main, and we're going to have a main, and let's say this is going to be foo, and then we can say go run foo.go, right? And it's going to output foo, you see? And you can make a lot of these things as you want, right? Very simple. Let's open up this thing. Let's delete foo. Yes, boom, foo is gone. And now we have main, right? So basically, another thing we can do is something like this. A very important thing I'm going to show you that basically confuses a lot of people, and that's the following, right? So we're going to make a get number here. We're going to make a function, get number, and it's going to return an integer, and we are going to return 1988, right? And we're going to say number is going to be a get number, right? And then we're going to print out the number here. So we're going to say the number is number. Very simple. Boom. And then you're going to say go run main.go. Boom. And you're going to see the number is 88. Nothing too special. Very easy, right? But what if we want to basically, because this is our main.go and we want to split our logic out, right? So, and we want to make a new file. We can do that, right? We could say a new file. We're going to call this util.go. Press enter. And it's going to, again, because why? I'm going to say this real quick. You can see util and main, they live in the root directory. And in a program, everything that sits in the root directory, everything should be package main. Everything, right? Of course, you can only have one. You can have multiple mains, but that's if you want to run them separately like we did with foo and with main, right? So we're going to delete this. The first thing we're going to do is look at this. We're going to open up main here. We don't have main. What's going on? Main, yes. We're going to delete this get number. We're going to paste it into our util thing. So now we have in our util package, in our util file, we have get number. And it returns 88, right? So if you open up main here, right, now it's going to say get number is undeclared, right? And actually that's not true. Let's try this, but you're going to see why I am doing this, because it's going to confuse you, right? Boom. You're going to see undefined get number. And why is that? Because what we need to do is we need to do a go module initialize first. And this is actually already too complex, but I want to tell you this anyway. So if you're going to split up your program, not your package, not your library, your program, you're going to split it up in multiple files and you're going to do a go run, right? A go run cannot import, how can I say this? It cannot find all the other files. We need to build this, right? So we need to, instead of doing a go run main.go, right? It's not going to work. It's going to say get number, although get number is in the same main package, right? It's in the same main package. Why? Because if we open up util here, like this, util, you can see package main here, right? And package main here. So basically, Go should find get number because it's in the same scope. But go run main.go, it cannot find this. Because go run is meant to run single files and not multiple files. It's already confusing, but it's very important because if you're going to try some stuff and you're going to run into this issue and you're going to spend the whole day debugging this, right? So what we need to do is do a go build, right? And go build will basically take all our files and it will build them into one binary in one single executable, right? So we're going to say go build -o, which basically means we can specify the output, and we're going to say my app, right? And we're going to press enter. And look at this. It's going to tell us go mod file not found in the current directory. We cannot make Go programs if we do not a Go mod in it, right? And the best practice for a Go mod is very simple. It's going to be Go mod and then you do init. But you could also do Go mod help and then you're going to see a list of things you could do with this. But don't worry about that. I just want to show you this. We need to do Go mod init. Actually, if you see this, if you want to, let's build this again, right? go build, you're going to see go mod file not found in the current directory, and then it's going to tell you go help modules, and it's going basically you can also infer what you need to do. But what I'm going to tell you what you need to do, it's going to be a go mod init. Go mod init, and what you need to specify after init is basically the name of your package or the name of your program, and that's why I think, although it's very simple in Golang packages and modules, for beginners, it's confusing. It's confusing as fuck, right? Don't worry about it, right? It's going to make sense very soon. We're going to say go mod init. And now you're just going to basically give it a name. It doesn't actually matter. It doesn't matter. Give it a name. In this case, it's going to be my Go project. My Go project. And press enter. Boom. And then it's going to say it's created a new Go mod file. And then you can add requirements to it. It's basically like a package manager, right? So if we're gonna list this, you can see we have a Go mod file here, and the only thing it basically says, telling us, is that we have a module, and the module is my Go project, and the Go version is 1.2. Although this is a program, it still makes it a module, and I think that's a little bit confusing. But hey, it is what it is, right? Of course, we're going to have the same problem here, undeclared name. That's no problem. Now we can actually build this, right? So we're going to say go build -o, this output, and we're going to say my app, for example, or my program. We're going to call it my app, boom. And it's built. If we do an ls, we can see that we have this green my app thingy, and that's a binary. And how do you run a binary? That's very simple. You do /my app, and you press enter, right? And then you can see the number is 88. So now it works perfectly fine. Although my Vim is complaining here, but that's because it's it does not know what's going on. It doesn't matter. Let me see if I can do it again. It doesn't matter. I can close Vim and reopen it and open up main here, and then it's going to be perfectly fine, right? Okay, cool. So that's the thing. So what did we do? We have a main, we have number, and we get the number. And where do we get this from? Well, we get this from our util file. It's basically a file, right? You see? Main and util, right? Very, very simple. So what we could also do is we're going to make a new file here, and we're going to call this, for example, user.go, or basically types. Let's make types.go. Boom, right? And we're going to say package main, and we're going to say type. For example, we're going to make a user here, and that's going to be a structure. Is it not in my camera? No, it's not. And then we're going to say that the username, you can make it small caps, no problem. Username is going to be a string, all right? We're going to let this user sit here, and then we're basically going to, actually, to be honest, what we could do is we could make it age, right? To be honest, hey, no worries. We're going to make it a username, and we're going to give it an age, and that's going to be an int, right? That's that. Wait, what's going on here? Okay, cool. So let's close our user. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to say user. And we already mentioned structs, right? Forgive me if, correct me if I'm wrong. I think we already mentioned structs. So we're going to make a new struct here. And we're going to say user is going to be an user. We don't need to say types because user is in the same scope, right? And let's not make it a pointer. It doesn't really matter. Pointers, we're going to cover that later. We're going to make a new user, and the username is going to be James, for example. It doesn't really matter. And then age is going to be, for example, get number. Doesn't really matter, right? Because age is a number and get number returns a number, so it's all fine. And then we're going to say the user here. The user is user, right? We don't need this thingy, so we're going to say that's fine. And then we're going to do a go build, right? We need to rebuild this, right? Because if we don't rebuild this, we're going to start the executable from a couple minutes ago, which didn't have that user. So we're going to go build it once again, and then we're going to run this, and then we see the user is James, and he's 88. It's very old, right? So we can see that we have basically 3 files, and we can basically import them, right? We can import them as if, because you see, user, we don't need to specify anything, a package or something. We don't need to import something. We just basically use it like it was in the same scope, and that's because all these files live in the same directory in the root, and all these files have the same package name, right? This is user and this will be util. You see they have all the package main here, right? That's how you can basically split up files in the same directory. But now, the next thing we're gonna do is, let's open up here. Let's make a folder, right? We're gonna make a folder and a folder or a package, right? A package, a module, whatever you wanna call it, doesn't make any difference. It doesn't really matter. We're gonna give it a new name and we're gonna say, for example, types, right? We're gonna make a new folder structure and we're gonna call this types because we wanna basically move all our types into a types package, right? So we're gonna say press enter and I have here a folder types here and I'm going to make a new file and that's going to be user.go. Of course, this is wrong. This is because let's kill everything. This is just basically my plugin that does this, right? So we have a new file inside of types and the file is called user.go. What would be the package name? That's right. It's going to be types, right? So we're going to say package types, right? And then we're going to actually, to be honest, let's open up or types.go from in the main, right? We're going to basically grab this user, paste this user in. I'm going to save this thingy, unexpected, that's no problem. What I'm going to do is basically open up. I'm going to delete this types here, boom, bam. So right now in our main, in our root, we only have util main, a go mod, and our binary here, and then we have types. And if you open up types, we can see that we have a user, right? And that's here, right? User.go, and that's going to be types / user.go. That's basically the location here, right? All right? Cool, that's that. So if we go back to, let's close this thing. Let's go back to main. So right now we have a problem, right? Because undeclared name user. Why? Because we deleted user from the main scope, from the package main, and we moved that user to the package types. So how can we access that user? Well, it's very simple. The only thing we need to do is import types, but normally VS Code will import it automatically, and you will see. We're gonna say types.user and press enter. And you see what happens here. You see, look at this. It automatically imports my project / types, right? And if we open up our Go mod, right, you can see that the module of our program is called my Go project. It could be whatever you want. So it's going to basically do my Go project, and then because that's the root, and then goes into types, and then we can access types user, right? But we have a problem. Look at this. We have a problem here. Unknown field username instruct literal. Unknown field age instruct literal. What is this? Well, it's basically because in Golang, and I'm not quite sure if I already mentioned this, but in Golang you have the concept, like in other languages, of private variables and public variables, of private functions, public functions, private strict, whatever. Private and public, right? And that's very simple. There is only one rule. Basically everything with a capital letter, for example, user, is going to be public accessible. How do you write this actually? Accessible? Public access. And everything with a small cap, with a small capital, not with a small letter, with a lowercase first letter, is going to be private access, right? And the public and private will be package dependent. That basically means that everything that is private access, but public in its own package, right? Public access everywhere for this guy. right? And of course, like I said, it's going to sound complicated, but we need to go through this. But it's going to make so much sense later on if we are basically building projects, right? Don't worry about this. Like I said, I'm actually not a big fan of explaining the basics of Golang because that's why people quit, because they just build projects and it will all make sense. But I just want to give you some basics so you have a little bit of knowledge in the back of your head if you're starting to make these cool projects, right? So that's because you can see, right? Like I mentioned before, everything with an uppercase first letter is public and everything with a lowercase first letter is private. Types user is working because why? Well, we have an uppercase user. Username and age gives us a problem. Why? Because username and age is basically lowercase. So we're going to go back to our types user here and we're going to say username uppercase, age uppercase, right? And then we're going to change uppercase here and age here. And then you see, it all works perfectly fine. And if we go run, we need to build, by the way. We're going to build this thing and we're going to say ./myapp. You can see it works perfectly fine. And what we did basically is split things out, right? In types. For example, I'm going to make another folder. I'm going to make this util or helpers. I'm going to make a directory util. And inside util, I'm going to make a new file. And that's going to be util.go, for example, right? So, of course, this is, again, not correct. It's because the plugin. You're going to say package util. And then you're going to say type. No, not type. We're going to say func get number, right? And get number is returning an integer, and we are going to return, in this case, we're going to return it 36, which is my age. We could actually, let's call it get age, by the way. Return 36, that's fine. So basically, let's open up back the root here, and we can see we have a util file here, and that's going to say get number, right? But what we're going to do is we're going to delete this util file, right? And we're going to basically have this util file here in our package util, okay? So let's open up what's going on here. Help, save this, open up main.go, right? And this get number is actually not working anymore because we don't have that get number. We're going to say get age, right? And it's going to say undeclared name get age because it cannot find it because get age is into util, right? We're going to say util get age. Of course, it's not going to work. Why? Because it cannot find get age. Because it's a private name, right? Util is a package which is not in our package main here. So we don't have access to the private variables of get age, right? So if you open up util here, this is private, right? So let's make it public. How do we do that? Get age, right? And then we're going to say util. What's going on? Util.getAge, and then we save this. And then we're going to see here what happens. Automatically, VS Code imports my Go project /util, right? And now we have access to all the util functions, right? Util get age, and we can make a new function here. Let's do func get name. Wait, public get name or username, and that's going to return a string. And we're going to say return, in this case, going to be, let's do James. It doesn't matter. James, just like that. And then instead of saying James here, we can say util get username, right? And then we're going to build this again. Go build, and then ./myapp, boom. And then we're going to say the user is James, and his age is going to be 36. A very cool trick I'm going to show you is basically because we can only see James and 36 in our logging here, what we could do is basically instead of doing a println, right? Because from time to time over the program, I'm going to show you some nice standard library tricks and tips you can use to basically make your life much easier. So we're going to say printf, which basically is println means print line, and printf means print format, right? So we're going to say print format, and then we could do something. The user is, for example, %v, right? And %v means basically anything. It could be, it will print anything you give it, right? So if we're gonna build it and run it, you're gonna see it's gonna do this. But if you do +v, %+v, right? And you build this again, let's clear it, my app, you're gonna see the username is James and the age is 36, right? Now with +v, you're gonna have the field names here, right? Username James, and in our previous example, it was just James and 36, right? All right, so that's basically it. So what can we already do? We can basically we can use files, we can use functions and variables from files in the same directory, from the same package. We can create new packages, right? We can create new packages. We can have package util and package types, and we learned how to basically import these things, right? Util get username, util get age, and our user here is the types.user, right? And that's basically it. To be honest, for modules and packages, that's the most important thing, right? You can maybe something else. If you want to make a new project and you don't want to run stuff, because in this case we're going to have a main function, right? So we can print out, we can run, if you know what I mean. But if you don't want this and you just want to have a simple library, then the only thing you need to do is in your root folder here, right? Instead of making a main.go, you can directly make a util or whatever thingy, and instead of doing package main, it's going to be directly package foo or par or bus, right? But you will see that later on. So I hope this was clear. It's actually very, very hard to explain because a lot of things makes no sense if you're new to be honest, in this thing. But if you follow this lesson, you are basically you learned everything you need to do, right? Make a package, import stuff, and all that shenanigans, right? So and what I always do, and that's basically a good thing to round this thing off, and that's this, right? So basically, each time we change something, what we need to do is go build, right? What I always do is, let me make a new file here, and I'm gonna call this a make file, right? I always make a make file in my projects, and we're gonna say build, and we're gonna say go build minus output, and it's gonna be my app, right? And then we're gonna say run. It's gonna be, this is for programs, right? If you wanna make a program, not for packages or libraries, okay? This is for programs, and then we're gonna say go run, depends on build, and we're gonna say /my app, right? What's going on? Like this. And then we can just do make run, and it will basically make everything and run it directly. And if you do before your lines, it will basically not print them out. You see, make run, the username is this. So let me open up main. Oh, it's so annoying. Let me open up main here. What you could do, for example, if you want to change the username, get username. We're gonna, instead of returning James, we're gonna return Alice, right? And the only thing we need to do is make run, and it will print out Alice. Hey, isn't that an amazing improvement of our lifetime? All right, so this was basically it. Thanks for watching this, and I'll see you in, of course, the next lesson. Cheers.